Oh, this is a beautiful day. This is a gorgeous, magnificent, absolutely delicious moment in your timeline. And I need you to stop everything and recognize what just happened. Because while you've been over here minding your business, rebuilding your peace, finally sleeping through the night without that weight on your chest, something incredible has been unfolding on the other side of town. They're starving, not for food, not for water, for you, for that thing you carry that they could never name but always needed. That frequency you emit without trying, that warmth you radiate just by existing, that light that used to pour out of you freely, generously, endlessly, like you had an infinite supply, and maybe you thought you did until you realized you were running on fumes while they were running on you. But today we celebrate. Not their suffering, no, we're past that. We celebrate your freedom. We celebrate the moment you finally understood your own value. We celebrate the day you looked at the empty cup you'd been pouring from and said no more. We celebrate you choosing yourself, perhaps for the first time in your entire existence. Can you feel it? That lightness in your chest that wasn't there before? That clarity in your mind that used to be clouded with their chaos? That energy, your energy finally circulating back into your own system instead of being siphoned off to feed people who never even said thank you? Welcome home to yourself, you beautiful, reclaimed soul. Welcome home. Let's talk about what you were to them, because I don't think you ever fully understood it. You weren't a friend. You weren't a lover. You weren't family. You were a charging station. You were a pharmacy. You were an emotional IV drip they'd hook themselves up to whenever their lives felt flat, whenever their own emptiness became too loud, whenever they needed to feel something and couldn't generate it themselves. They found you and they struck gold. Here was someone who listened without keeping score. Here was someone who gave without expecting return. Here was someone whose presence alone could shift the energy of a room, could make a bad day bearable, could make them feel like maybe everything would be okay. And they got addicted. Not to you as a person, let's be clear about that. They were never interested in who you actually were, your dreams, your fears, your needs. No, they got addicted to what you provided. The comfort, the stability, the warmth, the validation, the energy that flowed from you like an open tap they never had to pay for. Think about how they used to contact you. It was never random. It was never just because. There was always a need underneath the surface. They were bored, they were sad, they were anxious, they had a bad day. They needed to vent. They needed advice. They needed someone to make them feel important. And you, reliable you, consistent you, always there you picked up, you showed up, you poured out every single time. You know what's funny? They probably told themselves it was mutual. They probably convinced themselves they were giving just as much as they were taking. That's the delusion of the addict, isn't it? Thinking the relationship with the substance is reciprocal, thinking the drug needs them as much as they need it. But substances don't need anything, and neither did you. Not from them anyway. You were whole before they arrived. You just forgot because they made you feel like your wholeness was only valid when it was being useful to someone else. Now let's celebrate the moment. Everything changed. The moment you saw it clearly for the first time. Maybe it was a small thing. Maybe they forgot your birthday after you'd planned theirs for 3 years straight. Maybe they were unavailable the one time you actually needed something. Maybe you watched them pour energy into someone else that they never poured into you. Or maybe you just woke up one day exhausted in a way that sleep couldn't fix, and you finally asked yourself the question you'd been avoiding. Why am I so empty when I give so much? That question, that beautiful, devastating, liberating question, that was the beginning of everything. That was the first crack in the wall you'd built around the truth. And once you asked it, you couldn't unask it. Once you saw the pattern, you couldn't unsee it. They were draining you, systematically, consistently. And you were letting them because you thought that's what love looked like. You thought that's what friendship required. You thought your value was tied to your usefulness. And if you stopped being useful, you'd stop being valuable. But here's what you learned. And I need you to carry this with you forever. Your value was never in what you could give. Your value is in what you are. And what you are is irreplaceable. Not because of your function, but because of your essence. You are not a service. You are a soul. And souls don't exist to be consumed. So you did something revolutionary. You did something they never expected because they'd grown so comfortable in their access to you. You closed the tap. You disconnected the IV. You walked away from the charging station and let them figure out how to power themselves. And oh, the withdrawal began immediately. At first, they didn't even notice. Addicts never do at first. They've got reserves, they've got other sources, they've got the memory of their last hit still fresh enough to coast on. So they went about their lives thinking everything was fine, thinking you'd be back, thinking this was just a phase, and soon enough you'd return to your position as their emotional vending machine. But days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and slowly, beautifully, inevitably, they started to feel it. The emptiness they used to fill with your energy had nothing to fill it anymore. The anxiety they used to dump on you had nowhere to go and started eating them from the inside. The validation they used to extract from your attention couldn't be extracted from anyone else because no one else gave it as freely as you did. They started reaching out. Not with love, don't mistake it for that. With need. That desperate, thinly veiled, trying to sound casual need. Hey stranger, long time no talk. Was just thinking about you. We should catch up sometime. Each message a hand reaching for a bottle that's no longer there. Each text, a junkie knocking on a door that no longer opens. And you gorgeous liberated creature, you didn't respond. Or maybe you responded but without the energy. Maybe you gave them words but not the warmth. Maybe you showed up but kept yourself back, protected, boundaried, whole, and they felt the difference immediately. This isn't the same. They thought but couldn't say. Something's missing. Something's wrong. They're different now. No, not different. Just no longer available. And that distinction is killing them slowly. Let me tell you what's happening to them right now while you're over here thriving. They're restless, and they don't know why. They're scrolling through their phone looking for something that'll make them feel the way you used to make them feel, and finding nothing. They're surrounding themselves with people who give them fragments when you used to give them feasts. They're thinking about you more than they ever did when they had you, because that's how addiction works. You don't appreciate the drug when it's freely available. You worship it when it's gone. Some of them are probably convincing themselves they don't miss you. That's the denial stage. They'll tell their friends that you were too much anyway, too sensitive, too intense, too something. But late at night when the distractions fade and they're left alone with themselves, they feel the hole, the U-shaped hole that nothing else fits into. And here's the beautiful part, the part that should make you smile every time you think about it. You didn't do anything to them. You didn't curse them. You didn't revenge them. You simply removed yourself. And the removal of you was enough to collapse their entire emotional architecture. That's not your fault. That's their fault for building their house on your foundation, for never developing their own source, for treating you like an infinite resource when you were always a person with limits they refused to see. Now let's talk about you, because this celebration isn't about them. Not really. It's about who you've become since you cut them off. Look at you. Actually look at yourself. The color in your face that wasn't there before. The calm in your voice that used to shake. The boundaries you hold now without guilt, without explanation, without that desperate need to be understood by people who chose not to understand you. You're sleeping better. You're thinking clearer. You're feeling things you haven't felt in years because your emotional bandwidth isn't being consumed by their constant needs. You have energy for yourself now. Energy for your dreams. Energy for people who actually reciprocate. Energy for building instead of just maintaining. This is what freedom feels like. Not the absence of connection, but the presence of choice. You can give now without being depleted, because you give to people who give back. You can love now without being drained, because you love people who know how to hold what you offer instead of just consuming it. And the joy? Can we talk about the joy? That random happiness that bubbles up sometimes for no reason at all. That's your energy returning to you. That's your system finally running on its own supply. That's what it feels like to be full after years of being perpetually empty. You're not cold now. You're not closed off. You're not bitter. You're just selective, intentional, careful with the resource you use to throw around like it was unlimited. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some people will call you different, changed, not as nice as you used to be. Good, let them. Nice wasn't getting you anywhere except exhausted. Different is just another word for evolved. Changed is just proof that you learned something they hoped you'd never figure out. You figured out your own value. And that makes you dangerous to anyone who was banking on you, never knowing. Now here's what I want you to carry with you moving forward. This celebration isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. Every day you maintain your boundaries. Celebrate. Every time you choose yourself over someone's bottomless need, celebrate. Every moment you feel your own energy circulating through your own system, making you stronger, sharper, more alive, celebrate. You earned this. Not by doing anything extraordinary, but by finally stopping something destructive. You earned this by recognizing the leak and fixing it, by identifying the parasites and removing them, by understanding that your kindness was being exploited and choosing to redirect it toward people who honor it. And if they come back, when they come back, because they will, because addicts always circle back to their favorite high, you get to choose. You get to decide if they've earned access again, if they've changed, if they've done the work, or if they're just jonesing for another hit of what you provide and will disappear again once they're satisfied. My guess is most of them haven't changed. Most of them just ran out of options. Most of them are only at your door because everyone else closed theirs. And that, my friend, is not your problem anymore. Let them find their own light. Let them develop their own warmth. Let them learn what it means to generate energy instead of just stealing it. That's their journey, and you are not obligated to fuel it. Your only obligation now is to yourself, to the life you're building, to the peace you've cultivated, to the version of you that finally emerged once you stopped being consumed by everyone else's hunger. So tonight, tomorrow, every day after, I want you to look in the mirror and acknowledge the warrior looking back. Not a warrior who fought with weapons, but one who fought with boundaries. Not a warrior who won through aggression, but one who won through subtraction. Not a warrior who defeated enemies, but one who simply stopped feeding them. That's the most powerful kind of victory. The kind where you don't have to do anything to them. You just have to stop doing everything for them and watch them realize that without you, they're running on empty. They wanted your energy so bad. They got addicted to what you freely gave. They built their lives on a supply they assumed would never end. And then you cut it. Not out of cruelty, not out of revenge, out of self-preservation, out of finally recognizing that you are not an infinite resource meant to power everyone else's existence. Out of understanding that your light is precious and should be reserved for those who add to it, not just consume it. So here you stand, free, full, finally yours again. And somewhere out there, they're shaking, they're searching, they're scrolling through contacts, looking for a replacement that doesn't exist. They're realizing slowly, painfully, inevitably, that what they had in you cannot be replicated. Let that be their lesson. Let that be the natural consequence of taking without giving. Let that be what happens when you treat a blessing like a right and a person like a resource. But for you, let this moment be a beginning, a celebration that never ends, a joy that compounds daily as you continue to invest your energy in yourself and in people who deserve it. You cut the supply, and in doing so, you found your own. Welcome to abundance that doesn't require your depletion. Welcome to connections that don't cost you yourself. Welcome to a life where your energy is yours first and shared second. Welcome to freedom. Now go live in it. Loudly, unapologetically, joyfully. They're watching. They're starving. They're suffering the consequences of their own consumption. And you're finally thriving. Celebrate that. Today and every day after, you deserve it.
The most powerful thing you'll ever do is walk away, quietly, calmly, without a single word of explanation, without slamming doors, without giving them the satisfaction of seeing you break, just gone, like smoke disappearing into the night, like a shadow that was there one moment and vanished the next. No warning, no announcement, no dramatic goodbye, just silence where your presence used to be. And by the time they realize what happened, by the time they look around and notice the empty space you left behind, it'll be too late. You'll be so far gone, they won't even know which direction to look. And that emptiness, that void, it's going to swallow them whole. See, people don't understand silence. They don't respect it. They think if you're not making noise, you're not doing anything. They think if you're not fighting back, you've surrendered. They think if you're not begging them to stay, you don't care. But that's where they're wrong. Dead wrong. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's the calm before a storm they never saw coming. It's you conserving every ounce of energy they tried to drain from you and redirecting it towards something greater, something they can't touch, something that's going to haunt them for the rest of their miserable lives. You've been loud for too long. lying. You've been explaining yourself to people who don't want to understand. You've been fighting battles with people who brought knives to a war they started. And where did it get you? Exhausted, drained, empty, wondering why nothing you do is ever enough for people who are never going to appreciate you anyway. So stop explaining, stop fighting, stop giving them ammunition to use against you. Stop performing your pain for an audience that enjoys watching you suffer. Just walk away quietly. Let your absence be the loudest statement you've ever made. I know what they did to you. I know how they made you feel. Like you were nothing, like your love was worthless, like every sacrifice you made, every tear you cried, every piece of yourself you gave away meant absolutely nothing to them. They took you for granted. They used your kindness as a weakness. They saw your loyalty and thought, good, they'll never leave. I can do whatever I want. And maybe they were right for a while, but something changed, didn't it? Something inside you shifted. Maybe it was the 100th lie they told. Maybe it was the 1,000th time they made you feel small. Maybe it was waking up one morning and realizing you didn't recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror anymore. The person who used to be full of life, full of hope, full of love, now just a hollow shell of who they used to be. That was the moment, the breaking point, the second you decided that enough was enough. Not with screaming, not with tears, not with some big confrontation where you finally tell them everything you've been holding inside. No, with silence, with distance, with a quiet exit they won't even notice until the door is already closed behind you. Let me tell you something about people who hurt you. They're not expecting you to leave. They're really not. In their minds, you'll always be there. You'll always come back. You'll always forgive them one more time. Give them one more chance. Accept one more apology that means nothing. They've gotten comfortable with your presence. They've taken it for granted, like the air they breathe. They don't appreciate you because they don't think they have to. You've always been there. Why would that ever change? That's their mistake. Their fatal, irreversible mistake. Because one day, you're just going to stop. Stop calling. Stop texting. Stop showing up. Stop being available. Stop making yourself small so they can feel big. Stop sacrificing your peace for people who sleep perfectly fine after destroying yours. And at first, they won't even notice. They're too caught up in their own world, their own ego, their own delusion that you'll always be waiting in the wings. They'll go about their day like nothing's different. But then a week passes, then 2, then a month, and suddenly the silence becomes deafening. They'll reach for their phone, expecting to see your name. Nothing. They'll wait for you to break first, to come crawling back like you always did. Nothing. They'll tell themselves you're just being dramatic, that you'll get over it, that this is just another fight you'll eventually forgive. But you won't. Not this time. And that's when the panic sets in. That's when they realize they've lost something they can never get back. That's when the weight of their own actions comes crashing down on them like a tidal wave they can't outrun. You see, walking away quietly isn't about giving up. It's about giving yourself permission to choose peace over chaos. It's about recognizing that some battles aren't worth fighting because the people you're fighting don't deserve your energy. Think about it. Every argument you've had with them, every explanation you've given, every time you've tried to make them see your perspective, what did it change? Nothing. They didn't listen. They didn't care. They just waited for you to finish talking so they could twist your words and make you feel crazy. That's not communication. That's manipulation. And you've been falling for it, but not anymore. Now you understand that the only way to win with certain people is to stop playing their game entirely. empathy. You don't engage. You don't react. You don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you affected by their toxicity. You just disappear quietly, gracefully, like you were never there at all. And let me tell you something, that kind of exit, it's devastating. It's more painful than any words you could have screamed, any insults you could have hurled, any revenge you could have plotted, because when you walk away in silence, you leave them with nothing but their own thoughts, their own guilt, their own memories of every terrible thing they did to push you to this point. They can't argue with silence. They can't manipulate absence. They can't twist words that were never spoken. All they can do is sit there alone with themselves, wondering where it all went wrong. I want you to picture something. Picture yourself 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. You've walked away from everyone who drained you. You've cut ties with every person who made you feel like you weren't enough. You've stopped chasing people who only wanted you when it was convenient for them. And now look at your life. You're at peace, real peace. Not the fake kind where you're just pretending everything's fine while dying inside. Actual, genuine, soul-deep peace. You wake up without anxiety. You go to sleep without replaying conversations in your head. You live without constantly wondering if you're good enough for people who were never good enough for you. That's what walking away gives you. Freedom. The kind of freedom they can never understand because they've never had the courage to choose themselves over someone else's approval. And them, the ones you left behind, they're still stuck, still playing the same games, still hurting people, still wondering why everyone eventually leaves them, still refusing to look in the mirror and see the common denominator in all their failed relationships. You've moved on. They're frozen in time, and that gap between where you are and where they're stuck, it's only going to grow wider. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what if they change? What if they realize their mistakes? What if walking away means I lose them forever? Let me be real with you. If they were going to change, they would have changed when you were still there, begging them to. If they were going to realize their mistakes, they would have realized them when you were crying in front of them, showing them exactly how much pain they were causing. If they truly valued you, they never would have let it get to this point in the first place. People don't change because you leave. They panic because they lost their supply, their source of validation, their emotional punching bag, their safety net they could always fall back on, no matter how badly they treated you. That's not love. That's not even close to love. That's dependency. That's control. That's them needing you for what you provide, not who you are. And you deserve better than being someone's backup plan, their comfort zone, their I know they'll never leave guarantee. You deserve someone who's terrified of losing you, someone who would never dream of treating you the way they did, someone who sees your worth without you having to prove it over and over again. But you'll never find that person if you keep holding on to the ones who make you feel worthless. You'll never experience real love if you keep settling for counterfeit versions of it. So let them go. Walk away and trust that what's meant for you will find you when you stop chasing what was never yours to keep. Here's something they'll never admit to you. Your presence held more weight than they ever let on. They needed you more than they showed. You were the glue holding things together that they took credit for. You were the peace in their chaos, the calm in their storm, the one stable thing in their unstable world. And they repaid you with disrespect, with neglect, with making you feel like you were lucky to have them, when really they were the lucky one. happens. But they'll realize that. Oh, they will. Not when you're standing there pointing it out. Not when you're listing all the ways they failed you. No. They'll realize it in the silence, in the absence, in the cold, empty space where your warmth used to be. They'll reach for you out of habit and grab nothing but air. They'll expect to hear your voice and be met with silence. They'll look for your name on their phone and realize it's been months since they've seen it. And that's when it hits them. That's when the weight of what they lost comes crashing down. You didn't just leave. You took everything with you. The love, the loyalty, the support, the understanding, the patience, everything they got used to having without earning it. Now they're empty. Now they're alone. Now they're finally experiencing what you felt every time they made you feel invisible. And the worst part for them, they can't even blame you. You didn't scream. You didn't fight. You didn't give them any ammunition to paint you as the villain. You just left quietly, peacefully, without giving them the closure they don't deserve. Let's talk about closure for a second, because I know you've probably craved it. You've probably wanted that final conversation where you say everything you've been holding inside, where you get to tell them exactly how they hurt you and watch the realization dawn on their face. But here's the truth about closure. It's a myth, at least the kind you're imagining is. You're not going to get some movie moment where they break down, apologize, and suddenly become the person you always wanted them to be. That's fantasy. Real life doesn't work that way. The closure they give you will be unsatisfying. It'll be excuses. It'll be blame shifting. It'll be them minimizing your pain and making you feel like you're overreacting. You'll walk away from that conversation feeling worse than before, wondering why you even bothered. So don't bother. The only closure you need is the kind you give yourself. The decision that you're done. The choice to stop waiting for an apology that may never come. The commitment to moving forward without their permission, without their validation, without their participation. That's real closure, and it doesn't require a single word from them. Walking away quietly is an art. It takes discipline. It takes strength. It takes the kind of self-control most people don't have, because everything in you wants to react. Everything in you wants to show them exactly how much they hurt you. Everything in you wants to make sure they know what they're losing. But that's ego. That's pain demanding to be acknowledged. And while that's valid, it's not powerful. Power is restraint. Power is walking away with your head held high and your mouth closed. Power is letting your absence speak volumes while you say nothing at all. Anyone can explode. Anyone can scream and fight and make a scene. That's easy. That's expected. That's exactly what they're prepared for. But silence? A quiet, dignified exit? That's disarming. That's unsettling. That's the kind of move they can't counter because they never saw it coming. So here's what I want you to do. Stop announcing your moves. Stop warning them that you're at your limit. Stop giving them chances to manipulate you into staying. Stop performing your exit like it's a negotiation tactic to get them to treat you better. Just leave. Don't tell them you're done. Show them by being gone. Don't explain why you're leaving. Let them figure it out in the silence you leave behind. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment was yesterday. The second best moment is right now. Pack your emotional bags. Gather whatever pieces of yourself you have left and walk out the door without looking back. They don't deserve a goodbye. They don't deserve an explanation. They don't deserve one more second of your energy, your attention, your love. All they deserve is the cold, empty silence of your absence. And trust me, that silence is going to be louder than anything you could have ever said. I want to leave you with this. You've spent so long being loud for people who weren't listening. You've exhausted yourself trying to be heard by people who didn't want to understand. You fought battles that were never going to be won because the other side wasn't interested in peace. They were interested in power, in control, in keeping you small enough to manage. But that ends now. Now you move in silence. Now you let your actions speak. Now you stop wasting words on deaf ears and start investing that energy into yourself. Build quietly, heal privately, grow in the shadows where they can't see you transforming. And when you finally emerge, when you step into the light as the person you were always meant to be, they're going to be stunned. They're going to wonder how the person they dismissed became someone they can't ignore. They're going to regret every moment they took you for granted. But by then, you won't care about their regret. You'll be too busy living the life you built in the silence they created. Walk away so quietly they won't hear you until it's too late. Not because you're running from them, but because you're running towards yourself. Not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough to choose peace over proving a point. Not because you gave up, but because you realized some things aren't worth holding on to. Let them wonder where you went. Let them question what happened. Let them spend the rest of their lives trying to understand how they lost someone who would have given them everything. That's not your problem anymore. Your only job now is to keep walking, keep growing, keep becoming the person they tried to convince you that you'd never be. And when they finally hear about what you've become, when the news reaches them through the grapevine that you're thriving without them, when they see glimpses of your success from a distance they can't cross, they'll understand. They'll understand that your silence was never surrender. It was strategy. And by the time they figured that out, it was already too late.